In this purchase order module, we're going to cover the process of creating a purchase order from a sales order. This is a common drop ship scenario. So we went to sales orders, recently viewed. Here's a sales order. These are your line items. In Lightning, you're limited to the number of columns you can see in this layout. To see all the columns, you just click on View All. And you will see here that the quantity the customer ordered on this line item is 50, and so far we shipped 10, 20, we've shipped none, 30, we've shipped none. Okay, so we'll go back to the sales order, and in this case, we're gonna go ahead and create a purchase order. And we get to look up a vendor for each of the line items that we're gonna ship. So we will just come in here. Notice that this list doesn't show me all the accounts in Salesforce. It only shows me those accounts we've identified as vendors. We did that early on in the setup. If you're not familiar with it, you can go back and look at account setup and how we define these. So we'll just do this particular line item. We're going to drop ship from them. Create a purchase order. It's showing us that the quantity needed, even though the customer ordered 50, the quantity needed is only 40 because we already shipped them 10 from our warehouse in the previous video. So we'll go ahead and hit save because we're going to ship the balance of the order from this customer, from this vendor. So all I've done so far is say that I wanted to create a purchase order from a sales order. I selected this vendor, and then I selected the line item. Without having to go through and enter a bunch of additional information, it automatically selected the vendor contact listed. Let's go look at that really quick because this is an important distinction in how we're doing things. This is a contact. Under this contact, we labeled them as a vendor contact. So for this account, this contact is a vendor contact, meaning when we create a purchase order, this is the contact that's going to be filled out here in the vendor information. When we email this PO to the vendor, that's who it's going to be sent to. You can change it, of course, but this is up to you. So now the other thing that happened, we also filled in the PDF template for the PO and the email template that we're going to use when we send this to them. Again, when we send over the PO, it's got a PDF attachment. It's a nice format. And well, here, let's just look at it. It looks just like this. Preview PDF. This thing's ready to go. I can send this PO over right now. It pulls our cost from the product. Remember, back in setting up products, we put the standard cost in there. This one, you can reorganize the columns. Probably don't want the cost coming first, but that's just a configuration issue on the PDF. And then there's the total. Okay, so this is the purchase order. You can hit send. It's going to get sent to that orders department for this distributor. What also will happen, oh, by the way, you can also add additional email addresses in here if there's other people maybe in your organization or at the vendor organization that you just want to copy on that particular PO. The PO is going to go over and the email is going to have a nice HTML formatted part that looks just like this, meaning it'll have the vendor, ship to, it'll have the product lines and the PO number, all HTML formatted in the body of the email. They don't even have to open the PDF attachment if they don't choose to see exactly what you're ordering. Okay, so this is a key element. Here's something else that's really nice about this. We just created a purchase order for a line item. So we're going to go back to the sales order. You'll see here on this line item, two things have happened. We added a tracker, if you will, to that purchase order line item. So I can see this line item, sales order line item, has a purchase order line associated with it. I can click on it and be taken right to the purchase order. In addition, when I created that purchase order, I came over here and said create purchase order, it automatically creates another shipment and packs that 40 items in this shipment. Okay? So here are the items that went in there. So now I have in this shipment, I've got this line item here, and I've got this line item here. These are the two shipments that make up this line item up here. And when I create an invoice, a final invoice, I can also come in here and add the tracking number. So if my vendor gives me back the tracking number, I will have it. And then when I send this to my customer, they're going to get a copy of the invoice. It'll have all the tracking numbers for all of the line items that were sent. So this is a really important part. It was a little bit lengthy on this particular video, but I wanted to just cover in depth how we do the purchase orders for drop shipments.